Hello friends, on this day 50 years ago, April 19, 1975, India achieved a historic feat. And that story we are going to cover in today's program. So India launched Aryabhata satellite 50 years ago. And to understand its importance, you need to know the situation of India, what it would have been back then. A younger democracy, a nation which has got independence just around 20-30 years ago. Two big superpowers, USSR and USA, trying to dominate the world. And this was also the time when many people predicted that India as a nation would not survive, would fail. This date, April 19, 1975, India launched the Aryabhata satellite of 358 kg from Kasputin Yar Cosmodrome, USSR. A joint venture between India and USSR, where USSR helped us. Now, this story is not that simple. It's not a very straightforward story, because though this satellite was launched in 1975, but the inception for this, the ideation for this, had already started from 1971, when Vikram Sarabhai envisaged this dream that we should have a satellite of our own, a space missions of our own. But then the unfortunate thing happened that, as you all would be knowing, Mr. Sarabhai, he died in a plane crash. Then the baton would pass to Udupi Ramachandran Rao, who would lead as the project director, seating together the Russians and Indians. We decided to have this joint venture of launching the product. However, one interesting factors come into play. This was also the time when China was chasing its own satellite launches and space missions. This is when it occurred to Russia that to counterbalance China, India should have a satellite launches of its own. So this was when decided that the satellite at that time that China was trying to launch was weighing somewhat around 150 to 200 kg, around 180, 190 kg to be precise. The Russians said the satellite that India is launching, it must outweigh the Chinese satellite. This is when the weight of our satellite was decided to be 350 kilograms. Now, going into the details like how it all started, the project of the cost was 3 CR, which our then Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi, she agreed for it. However, beyond costing, beyond leading the project, the problem was with the equipments, with the resources that would go into the making of this satellite. Why so? To understand this, you have to understand that the world power at that time, they would not encourage other powers to come in. And this is one of the major reasons even today, like the manufacturing sector lacks in India, because we in one form or the other have been always subjugated. So still our team had such great people who decided, who overcame all these problems, and they decided to have the equipments of their own. Then the place was decided, as you know, that we were a budding nation with no greater resources. The place was decided, Penya Industrial Estate on the outskirts of Bangalore. Such tin sets that you can see in the picture, 4 tin sets of 5,000 square kilometer, they transferred into the office or headquarters that would say where this dream would come into a reality. And around 150 people worked tirelessly for the pride of India. For India to succeed, they gave up their day and night, each and everything. Now, as told you, there were Mr. Rao, T.N. Seshan, Y.S. Rajan. We should remember their acumen, their smartness, how they outmaneuvered the superpower to help to give us this moment where we can celebrate such occasions today of our own. And this whole project was built in a record time of 30 months. Now, going ahead, when this was coming near to the completion, then our Prime Minister Indira Gandhi would visit the place. She would see the satellite and she felt very happy about it. What do you know about, like, there is one thing about we Indians or about our bureaucracy, that is, we are very particular about one thing. And if you can guess that one thing is we are very particular about naming. Like, most of the time that spent, it's said, it's again a joke that goes around that most of the time which the bureaucrats spend, they spend a good amount of time in what should be the project's name. So 3 names were given. One was Jawahar, relating to our erstwhile, our former Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru ji. Then Maitri, relating to the dynamics between India and Russian friendship. Then Aryabhata. And out of these 3 names, Indira Gandhi opted for Aryabhata name, honoring the ancient astronomer, ancient Indian great Aryabhata. And then the rest is history. Now, here are some certain details about it. It was quasi-spherical, 26-phased polyhedron, 46. It was powered by 46 watt of solar cell, and the main thing that it did was, after the launching into the orbit, what it did, X-ray astronomy. It studied the X-rays which are coming from the other stars. Then solar physics, it studied the sun, and it would build a base, you can say, for further studies. And aeronomics, relating to the study of the atmosphere, especially the upper atmosphere of the Earth. Now, what is more important, that this would build a team of confident people, would give us confidence, which would later on lay the foundation for our future products like Chandrayaan, even of recent Mangalyaan. Now, one thing that you need to remember about this project, that I must tell you, that after its launch, after 4-5 days, it met certain unfortunate thing where it tipped off from its orbit. And though its mainframe was communicating, but the purpose for which it was sent, it did not go as expected. However, dear friends, when such missions are launched, when such missions are done, one thing we need to remember, that even though it was a satellite launch, but going forward, it would provide us the ammunition to go into the field of research, where the offshoot studies which goes into such projects, they could be used elsewhere. For example, satellite communication, telemedicine that you have today, even the smaller components that you have. For example, though that time we got it launched from USSR, but when we do it on our own, the technology, the rocket launchers, their combustion thing that we get to know, these each and every minute component could itself become a project for a larger set of things which could make the country self-reliant. So this project, this satellite launch, we should not just see it as an event. We should see it as a foundation which was laid. And for today, like ISRO and India in the space thing, we are among the superpowers. We are self-reliant. Like, we are capable enough. Like, our first satellite was launched by some other nation. Today we are capable enough to launch the satellite of other nations. So dear friends, I just hope that you like this story of India's audacity, India's grit, determination, those team of 150 people who gave it their all, who believed in a vision that one day we could accomplish such feat, that today, after these 50 years, these things looks very normal to us. So I just hope we all would not just take pride from such events, but also great learnings for ourselves and also for our great country, to make it a better country and to have more of such achievements of which we can not just boast about, but also contribute for the country's progress and also humanity as large. So I just hope, friends, you would have loved this story, and I'll be back with you with some more interesting stories, more interesting topics. Till then, take care. Thank you.